Live now.
We are live. Yay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our book club. It is our December book of the month, and
It's our November book of the month.
we are here. It's our November book of the month, but we're in December.
Very late.
And because we're like that.
Yeah.
So our book this month was Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. And I'll read out the blurb and then we'll jump right into talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's an East Asian fantasy reimagining of the evil queen legend about one peasant girl's quest to become empress and the darkness she must unleash to achieve her destiny. 18-year-old Shi Feng is beautiful. The stars say she is destined for greatness, that she is meant to be empress of Fenglu, but only if she embraces the darkness within her. Growing up as a peasant in a forgotten village on the edge of the map, Shi Feng longs to fulfill the destiny promised to her by her cruel aunt, the witch Guma, who has read the cards and seen glimmers of Shi Feng's majestic future. But is the price of the throne too high? So I'm here today with Mary, and unfortunately our sidekick Tendai couldn't make it today, but we will plow on. So Mary,
Yes.
any input? What did you think?
Pronunciation there, by the way.
Okay, before all of this started, I realized that I've been pronouncing most of the names wrong in this whole entire book, and we had a giggle about that. So if I do happen to pronounce anything completely wrong, don't hold it against me. Mary will probably correct me. But yeah, Mary, what do you think?
Well, okay, so I received this actually as we had decided for the book club what the book was going to be, but I received it in a Fairy Loot subscription box. And I feel kind of stupid because this is really the story of a villain rising, how a villain rises to the top, right? And I feel kind of stupid because I didn't actually know that until about halfway through the book, even though the Fairy Loot theme was villains. So my IQ is...
How could you not know that, Mary? Really? It was so obvious. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, but no, so at the very beginning of the book, like, I thought Shi Feng was like the worst main character I'd ever read. She was so unlikable. She put other women down. She had these horrible thoughts about just kind of like brutally kind of destroying all these other women around her who she was even the tiniest bit jealous of. And her personality was just something you would not want to be friends with this girl, She was also extremely narcissistic. She described herself as perfect and her beauty and all this kind of stuff, and she wouldn't stop going on about it. And her lover, Wei, who was kind of meant to be the guy that's always described throughout the book as the guy who keeps her good, that he sees the light in her and stuff, but he is just as bad as her. Like, he's a complete asshole too. Like, several chapters in, I was kind of thinking, okay, these two definitely deserve each other, right? Nothing more, nothing less. They deserve each other, and that is it. But after I
agree.
Yeah, but after I kind of like realized where this was going and kind of copped on and realized, okay, this is actually a villain story, it was interesting because I did kind of put it aside. A lot of YA books, they have like a lot of readers can be, okay, this is problematic because the heroine is, very jealous and puts other women down. And that is a problem in some YA books. But I think when it's coming from a villain's perspective, you kind of forgive it more because, okay, she's going to become a big baddie. You can kind of see she's this horrible person and just becomes more and more horrible and justifies her terrible actions. So yeah, no, it was very, very interesting. She was never a truly like good person. Like she was pretty much always awful and kind of a brat, even though her Guma treated her like shit and stuff. You felt bad for her, but also, okay, you're a little shit. I kind of hate you, so I don't feel bad. But I don't know. I mean, it was interesting, definitely. And I really enjoyed seeing how far she went.
Yeah. But like, did you see the ending coming the way it did?
No.
Or did you see it go? I'm just going to warn people there may be spoilers when you're watching this. We will try to warn you if we do get spoilers, but just brace yourselves.
So upcoming spoiler here. Your fingers in your ears if you don't hear it. Yes, Guma, the whole reveal with Guma, that was surprising. I mean, I think it was kind of laid out to be as more of a momentous, like, oh, look at this, than it was. I was surprised, but it wasn't like a big deal that it was. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, usually, like, she didn't react to that like it was that big of a deal, really. At the time, she kind of just continued on with the conversation instead of being just like, oh my God, you lied to me your entire life, it was kind of strange the way it played out. But
But like
maybe she had.
she was like you said already, though she was very self-centered and very like narcissistic. So I feel like even though stuff was happening, like and people were leaving her life and all this stuff was happening on the outside, everything was about her. So like it was kind of like, did she really even care? I know she did care,
Yeah.
kind of, but like it kind of paled in comparison to her thinking about herself
It was all caring and to do with her. It was all to do with her, you
and
know.
her destiny, and everything was about her,
Her,
and she had to
her
do these
beauty.
things to get what was predicted. Yeah.
Yeah. No, to be fair, I hated Lady Sun.
Oh my God,
I just
yes.
called her Lady Sun throughout the whole book, but I'm gonna try and do it right now because it's meant to be Sun, I think. No, actually, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna call her Lady Sun. I'm gonna keep forgetting. Um, Lady Sun.
Swan.
I couldn't stand her, right? As the book, all of her terrible things that she did. But at the very, very beginning, just when she was cleaning up after Lady Sun's dog, and she was like imagining her boiling her alive in cooking fat in like a boiling hot
Mhm.
swimming pool, I was kind of like, okay, Shifeng, maybe calm your tits a little bit. She only has to cook.
Calm down.
That
Yeah.
was crazy. That was, I think, the first clue where it was just like, okay, this entitled brat, and also she might be a psychopath.
But
Um,
like the whole way through the book, there's also this kind of underlying thing where it's not completely her as well, or that there's this evil festering inside her. So like I almost expected it to go a different way, where she'd redeem herself in the end, and it turned out that all these evil thoughts were actually this evil thing inside her, or these evil manifested feelings or whatever. So like I don't know, I kind of didn't expect it to end the way it did, because I thought it was just a single standalone novel, and I thought somehow there'd be a happy ending, like all these stories and fairy tales, and the evil will be conquered. But like, yeah,
I mean, she
because
got
like,
a happy ending. I mean, at the end
yeah,
of the book, she is currently.
is it happy? Is it happy ending though?
Well, it won't
Is it
be. There's
really?
another 2 books to come, I think. So, you know, Snow White's gonna feck her shit up. And that's another thing. I think Adam as well. You didn't know that it was
I
a Snow White
didn't.
telling from.
I completely overlooked all of this stuff. I was like, oh, this is a nice little book. I kind of knew it was a fairy tale story. I just didn't cop on to the fact that it was pretty much a Snow White retelling until Mary said it before this live stream. And I was like, oh, right, that makes sense now.
I thought it was obvious. I mean,
It probably, when you said all these things, though, I was like, okay, yeah, right. How did I not think about that? But I just kind of took it for what it was. And
to be fair, it is
like,
set in a world where it's very heavily influenced, like it has very heavy Asian influences. And obviously, Snow White that we know isn't like that in any of
I
the
loved it
movies.
though. Like I loved the world building. I loved the fact that it was Asian. It was it really added to the story and added to the everything really, like the plot and just the way to do things. It was just, I don't know, it was a nice change from what we're used to, I suppose, and nice to kind of see like a kind of different influence on a kind of well-known fairy tale, I suppose.
The run-of-the-mill young adult books and that kind of thing. And yeah, so
like
she really,
it's been done so many times.
yeah, exactly. And it was really interesting how, I mean, the entire cast is Asian, do you know?
Yeah,
and you can very easily tell that she doesn't have to do any of these kind of awkward, problematic kind of descriptions and that kind of thing. It's you're so used to seeing, heroines with long flowing blonde or brunette or whatever hair and blue eyes and green eyes. And, basically everybody was described as having black hair, brown skin, brown eyes, in the book.
And I liked it. It was proper. And like, I think the author herself, she's
a Vietnamese American.
Vietnamese, that's the one. Yeah. But like, also one thing I liked about the book was like in the very first few pages, they have all the characters' names, the pronunciations of their names. I completely disregarded it because I just wanted to get right into the book, which I regret now. But looking back, that's a really nice touch because like most of her audience is probably going to be American or English, and they wouldn't be completely familiar with like pronunciations like these. So I think it is a nice touch that she was like, here, this is how you pronounce these names.
Exactly. Pretty much a necessary touch. I mean, I am very, very bad at that kind of thing. With a name I haven't seen before, like for the entire first Harry Potter book, I called Hermione Hermione. Instead of Stephanie, I was like Persephone. Do you know, like it was completely wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I actually haven't checked yet, or I haven't checked. But I think that the names itself that she used are actual Asian names. They're not even just made up. So I think it's probably necessary that she put in the the phonetics, because otherwise we'd be going around saying, I mean, if she hadn't put that in, I would have called Xifeng Zifeng.
That's exactly what I called her the whole way through the whole entire book.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Completely. But like it makes, because like I like the fact that the main character's name starts with an X as well. It's Xifeng.
Yeah, it's so
And like it's really cool. It's really
yeah. And just going back as well to the descriptions of the characters, because all of them were very, very similar. But everybody in my head, even though they were all brown with brown eyes with black hair, they all looked completely different in my head when I was imagining them. Like she created the world and the characters so well that they were just so easy to imagine. You know,
and they were so diverse as well. Like there was the chubbier characters, the plump characters, the skinny characters, and it just worked. It all, like, I loved it.
It's a perfect example of how to do diversity well. You know, how to do, how to feature characters of color, without, and do a good job of it, basically.
Question: who was your favorite character in the whole book?
Oh, everybody's so terrible. It's actually so hard. Everybody's such a terrible person. No, to be fair, I did love. His name is Kong, but I kept calling him Kang because it's spelled Kang, and I'm, desperate. Even after looking at the pronunciation list. So I loved Kang for a really long time.
Such a twist there, though. Sorry, spoilers, but twist. What?
I couldn't see him the same way after that. In fact, he was completely different that way. And it's probably better to say I liked Kang's mask. I liked Kang's second face, if you will. So I was kind of devastated whenever it turned out it became who he actually was. Like that was really depressing.
Yeah.
It was like, her, slightly effeminate gay best friend kind of type, and I was just like, I hate this now that this is over.
Because he was the perfect like sidekick best friend, and it was like, this is cute. It's not a love story. It's natural best friend. Oh, never mind. And that's kind of how I felt. I was like, oh,
yeah, I was, and it kind of made her more likable, because it was actually the only reason she was remotely likable to me was whenever she was hanging out with Kang. He made her like more human-y or something.
Yeah, because she was being sympathetic to one person and not kind of thinking of herself when she was with him. It was kind of like, oh, this guy is actually okay. He's growing on me. And then
I did hardcore think, though, do you know whenever they first met, I thought that he would turn out to be, like Varys in Game of Thrones and be like super two-faced and that kind of stuff. And in saying that as well, whenever they first met Shiro and that kind of thing, and whenever she first got to the palace, I was like, this is a little bit too Game of Thronesy for my liking. There's a dwarf character whose family doesn't like him because he's a dwarf, and he has I don't know. And then the eunuch as well, whenever they introduced the eunuchs, and there was a character that kind of reminded me of Cersei, it all seemed kind of too familiar, but it quickly got away from that, very, very quickly, once you understood properly the roles of the eunuchs and that kind of stuff, and it all made sense. It wasn't just included as a kind of a copy thing.
But one thing I also liked about it was how strong the women characters or the female characters in this book were, because like, they were fierce, they were strong, they were confident, but they also had the tenderness as well to them. Like you could see their vulnerability at times as well. And I think she did like a really, really good job at creating those characters.
True, but another funny thing about the female characters though, is that there was only one that wasn't hardcore crazy. Empress Liwa was the only one who was like normal. I mean, Lady Meng was obsessed with the prince and then goes and tries to.
Oh no, Akira was quite nice as well.
Oh, Akira, yeah. I
liked her.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Lady Meng was pretty crazy. Madame Hong has some serious issues.
Okay, yeah, true.
Uma is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
But like, in comparison, then, what did you think of the male characters, like Wei and the Crown Prince?
I really hated Wei. I thought he was the worst. I thought he was that typical jock, masculine. I own you now. I'm going to protect you, but that's not me being as though you're my object. I don't know. I really just hated him. I hated their whole relationship.
Did you feel any pity for him at all, though?
No, I did feel pity for him. I mean, his heart was being dragged along like a wee doggy on a leash. But
like he loves her. He loves her.
Well, he loves her, but he's also a shit. Like he's also a terrible person himself. I think we're definitely going to see him again. I think he's going to come back and be just like, do you know what? I'm just going to lay at your feet, boss me around, don't care as long as I get to be with you. I could see him becoming like the huntsman, maybe the huntsman.
Oh. Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, even though it was hinted that Kang was going to be the huntsman, but I don't think that makes sense, because in the whole story, the huntsman saves Snow White, right? And I can't see Kang ever coming back from the way he's been described,
Yeah. But then like he's a cool character as well though. Like it's very Game of Thronesy and very like otherworldly. And then you have like the Tengaru as well, which are like these other creatures, and they have like horse heads and um what was their body? Like scorpion tail, was that right?
Something like that. Yeah, they were very.
Like they're like these mythical kind of creatures.
Yeah, I really liked that whole scene as well.
Yeah.
And there's another question:
Um
would you rather be in Guma's bad books or Shifeng's? I would definitely rather be in Guma's. Oh my God, I'll take the cane any day over the retribution that Shifeng has in mind. Like she's straight up crazy.
yeah. Guma was crazy as well though.
Yeah,
But
but
Shifeng would kill you. She would literally destroy you.
Shifeng wouldn't even kill you. She would like slowly watch you die and like.
But it's not. Is that her though? Is that really her, or is that just the monster inside her?
I think it's become. I think the monster's been inside her so long that she is him. That they are together. They are what she is. I don't think she even knows who she is without that. I don't know how they're going to redeem her. Like
Maybe they won't.
maybe they won't. Yeah, maybe they won't. I mean, sure, is the evil queen ever redeemed in the main story? I don't think so. I
No,
think
I don't think so either.
I think it was the Christian Stewart movie where they had like a bit more of like kind of gray shades to her character and kind of explained a little bit as to why she is as crazy as she is. But I don't think it actually goes
Oh my
into
god, I've literally just had a revelation in my head.
what.
I feel like I've had a revelation. Maybe not though. So do you know the way the whole way through the book there's this reference to the fool?
Yes. Oh
Like
yeah, Shifeng is totally the fool.
really though?
Oh, were you thinking something different?
I feel like the fool hasn't. Well, the fool is there, but I feel like the fool is a character that was born in the book.
Yeah, no, see, I thought that as well at first, but I'm just like, Shifeng has been looking for the fool for the entire book, right? But the fool was meant to be the one that brought well, it was meant to
Oh
be the up
yeah.
in the air. So I was thought maybe Shifeng is the fool and she's not actually destined to rule. The other one is,
Oh yeah.
destined to rule.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
actually
You're right, actually. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, yeah.
so yeah, I think I was thinking
Well,
that
now
halfway.
that I know what the story is, now I know like it's Snow White. That makes sense now. Okay, yeah. Oh,
Yeah. But I don't think Shifeng would ever have thought that she would be an evil character, but you can really see that rise all the way through. But and
but Guma as a character, then, like, she was quite fierce and scary. Like, I didn't, like, I don't know. She was
I wouldn't-
uncomfortable. Like when she was using the cane, and she's a very like strict lady. Strict.
yeah, she was.
Like I know I don't want to say for her aunt. I don't want to spoil stuff, so that's what I'm leaving it at for now. But like,
I mean, the way like Shifeng still had a very kind of "oh, I love you and I want you to love me" thing. I think it was almost a wee bit Stockholm syndrome, really, because like Guma did treat her like terribly, treat her like shit.
awfully, yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, Guma was trying to do the best for her, like what she thought was the best for her. I mean, she kind of did sell her soul, and she was trying to just protect the same thing from happening
Mhm.
to Shifeng. So I don't know. I mean, it brings up the question, if you know your future or if you know somebody's future and you try to intervene, are you just making it worse or is it going to happen anyway? Or it's interesting. Like if she hadn't done any of the stuff she had done, would she fung, would she have been
Have made
fine,
it.
married Wei and stayed in the village?
Do you think it's a plot-driven story though, or a character-driven story? Because like at times, like the whole fact that the whole story was driven by this kind of destiny from the cards, and she knew she had to become an empress, or she knew she was destined to become an empress, and she knew that like she kind of was following a step-by-step guide to get to the throne. Like, do you feel that, or do you feel like
Yeah,
her character?
I think, it actually is both. Like a lot of the books we read, it's either very plot driven or very character driven, but I think this is pretty even down the middle. Even though it's a story specifically about Shifeng and her rise, I didn't feel like the plot became a background thing. It was always mentioned. It was always in every scene. It was always something was driven towards the plot. There wasn't a lot of filler. I mean, no, I don't know. I think, yeah.
Actually, I don't think there wasn't any filler really.
No, I really
Like there
don't.
was no chapter where nothing happened. I don't think. Like there was always some every chapter was an extension of what had happened previously. Like it was always go 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 go. Like I
Yeah.
don't remember ever getting bored. Like it was a very very easy read. Um, like it really was. Like you flew through it and you'd fly through it in a few days. Like
Yeah, you're never not reminded of what the plot
yeah,
is, of the fact that her destiny, it's always mentioned in every single thing, and there's always like conflicts coming up to do with it. So no, I think it was very plot driven, but it was also very character driven. I think it was very 50-50. It was really well done in that way.
yeah.
But if I
And
had,
like it was her first book, that author's first book. So like for that alone, it was a very very impressive attempt,
oh, it was, yeah,
or impressive start for her.
true. But if I was to say some negatives, whenever we're in Shifeng's head and she's kind of thinking about Wei, a lot of the time, do you know the way she was doing the whole, I don't understand what true love is, and she would be looking at people and I don't get that, but then she'd act exactly the same way with Wei, and she'd kind of say this stuff to him too. It was very confusing.
Hmm.
I don't think it was that well executed because on the one hand you thought, okay, well she's totally in love with Wei. Obviously she is. She's going to go risk getting caned by her aunt to go see him, do you know? And then another thing she's saying, oh, I don't know what love is. I can't say I love you to him, but then she does say I love you. It was very, I don't know, it was quite. I don't think that was the best one. I mean, I suppose it caused a very confusing effect.
I
Yeah.
think it was intentional though, because
Well,
even
maybe
when
that was the point, yeah.
later on, because like when she compared near the very end, compared her. I don't want to spoil stuff. But there was a comparison at the end of it where she was hugging a certain person and she felt like she looked up thinking it was Wei and it wasn't,
Mm,
and she kind of felt that kind of moment.
yeah.
Um,
And it was
uh,
interesting as well that she was like, oh, I only know what true love is when I lose it. It's just like, oh my God, you are so typical to how I imagine you in your head. You're such a brat. She's such a brat.
but also, one thing I noticed as well though, when she discussed the Emperor, every time she brought him up, she always mentioned him as being familiar.
Yes, I almost thought that the serpent god, was it the serpent god, would
Yeah.
like had taken over his body or something, or I don't know. I thought there would be something there,
I
but
feel like there is still something there. I don't know, because like every time she mentioned them, it was, or every time like they were in the presence of each other, it was brought up how familiar he was, or how familiar he felt. So I was like, I wonder if that's leading to something in the future, or
oh, I'm sure it must be. Like she can't just leave that thread
I don't know.
dangling. But
Yeah,
in saying that though, do you know the way we were kind of giving her a break, saying, okay, well, the serpent god's inside her or whatever. But didn't he like manifest outside her body? Isn't he like, isn't it just her now and she's just given into her own darkness? Like, isn't he a separate entity now?
is he?
So, so
Did I
it's
miss
all
that?
Shifang.
At the waterfall scene? At the waterfall scene? No,
Yeah, like whenever he came out, did he go back in or
I
did?
thought that was just. I think that was just a reflection, though. I don't think that was him
Oh,
leaving.
oh,
I
right.
think she could just see like him mirrored inside her, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah,
That's kind of what I took it out.
that might be the case.
Oh, maybe yeah, because if he's mirrored inside her, that's from the whole Snow White story where it's mirror, mirror on the wall.
Yeah, the waterfall
Like,
is the mirror.
he isn't. Yeah. Oh,
Oh.
no, but he was speaking, so he was the one who said, "Fairest, you're the fairest," and all that. So he
Yes,
is kind
that
of the
was all.
mirror. So he's
Yeah.
inside her. Makes sense.
Okay. No, so he's still all right. That's fine because then that would give more that would give more plausibility to the whole maybe Emperor Jun is.
But there
But
was one thing that really was weird. Okay, this is kind of a spoiler, but when she was young, her aunt got her to kill a squirrel, like just break a squirrel's neck and then eat the squirrel's heart. And
yeah,
this kind of thing happens a few times in the story, and it progresses on to her killing humans. And that was dark. Like I wasn't expecting. Like I thought it was gonna be a light-hearted fairy tale story. I didn't expect it to go so dark. But
yeah.
like drinking the blood, the lifeblood of animals or humans or things like this, would give her kind of extra magical powers and ability to heal her wounds and things like this. So like, did you kind of see it going that way, or were you kind of like,
Whenever she first did it to heal, like the first thing that happened to her face, I thought,
mhm,
her whole reaction was really crazy. Like she totally, totally freaked out as though she was about to die. And I was like, oh, there's something here.
mhm.
And I don't know, she was very, very upset about it at first, but whenever she described the feeling of the heart going down her throat and that hunger, I could totally tell that this shit was gonna come up again and it was gonna be worse.
Yeah,
So
it got worse.
yeah.
But like anytime anything happened to her face, like when her face was damaged again later in the book. Like she was distraught. Like it was the end of the world kind of thing. It was like I thought that was very well written. Just seeing how crazy she kind of went, it was like like she cared so much about her appearance. Like that was her most important asset.
Well, she was constantly saying that as well. Like it was constantly, oh my beauty, my perfect face is the only thing I
Yeah.
have. But it totally wasn't. Like she was very well prepared for the world thanks to Guma. Like she knew all of that poetry. She knew politics and geography. She was well educated. She could have done fine for herself. But
I
like
was totally rooting for her at that point when she first went in to the girls' dorm. What was it called? The girls. She went
dormitory.
beyond the wall anyway. Yeah, and she was with Ho and yeah. Was it Ho and yeah? No.
Hong and you. Oh yeah, whenever she delivered that badass line.
Yeah, when she kind of caught was it? She caught him out, and because she knew he was stealing poetry or something like that.
Yeah,
And
like, oh, I'll be sure to tell the crown prince have you.
yeah, oh, I was so
Smile.
rooting for her in that moment. I was like, yes, you go, girl. Like it was just one of those moments where you're like, yes. Even though
Yeah.
like I didn't love her at that point, but like, I was kind of like, yeah,
Yeah, you could kind of think maybe
burn.
turn it around and just be
Yeah,
that amazing badass empress and
yeah.
screw over everybody who wronged her. But it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't in the cards, right?
Stupid cards. She has the
Yeah.
cards now. I'd say she'll use them herself.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now they've
Be
been.
destined by her own cards.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. I take back what I said about the huntsman, about her teaming up with Wei as a huntsman, because she'll never forgive him for what he did.
Which would make him the huntsman, though? Because
Just
isn't the huntsman
work
sympathetic to Snow White?
Oh yeah. Oh
Or
yeah.
like,
Oh, I suppose they don't even need to meet again. Oh, no, that would work.
yeah.
I don't know. We're just spitballing here. Either way, what are your final thoughts on this book? Would you recommend it? What are your stars rating?
Okay, so we've read a lot of books so far, and I think this one may be one of my favorites.
Oh,
Genuinely, I have to say, like it was a very, very easy read. It was enjoyable. I love the whole Asian culture, the Asian kind of twist on a fairy tale story. And now that I know it's Snow White's story, or the story of the Evil Queen, it kind of, yeah, I appreciate it even more. And like it was very kind of refreshing to have a story or a fairy tale story done so differently. Because like it could have been predictable, I suppose, and been very obvious. But the fact that I didn't really pick up on it, maybe because I'm a little bit slow on the pickup of it. But yeah, no, it was refreshing. I enjoyed it. Are we doing star ratings now, or hold my star rating for the end?
Well, I'll just say, as I suppose a final word, there's quite a few
Okay,
young
go
adult
on.
books at the moment that have like fairy tale retellings, but a lot of them are just predictable and not that great. But this is definitely one of two that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Marissa Meyer's Cinder, which was really
Oh
interesting.
yes.
Yes, it added the whole cybernetics thing, and it was a whole plague, and that was really cool. And now this like Asian retelling of Snow White, so it's definitely up there with the good ones. She's done a really good job, especially as this is her debut. So yeah, I really enjoyed it overall. I mean, there were some problems, with consistency of characterization, but I'm really excited to see the next book. Obviously, this has just come out, so I'm gonna have to wait quite a while. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Star wise, I would probably give it a solid 4 because I enjoyed it about just as much as Daughter of Smoke and Bone.
Yeah. I'm also going to give it, I'll give it a 4.5. I'm giving this the highest rating I've given so far
Oh
because I
Jesus,
thought it
really?
was solid. It was solid. It was so good. Like, I don't know. I finished it and I was like, I kind of want more.
Yeah,
Like, I love when you finish a book and you want more.
I definitely thought of the characters
So
after I was finished.
4.5 for me. So should we discuss our next book for next month?
Yes, what was it? What is it again? It is
Okay.
of Made.
Okay, so yeah, so Tendai has picked the book for next month, and it is Beasts Made of Night by Tochi Onyebuchi, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly read the summary of what it's about. So in the walled city of Kos, corrupt mages can magically call forth sin from a sinner in the form of sin beasts. Lethal creatures spawn from feelings of guilt. Taj is the most talented of the Aki, young sin eaters, indentured by the mages to slay the sin beasts, but Taj's livelihood comes at a terrible cost. When he kills a sin beast, a tattoo of the beast appears on his skin, while the guilt of committing the sin appears on his mind. Most Aki are driven mad by the process, but 17-year-old Taj is cocky and desperate to provide for his family. When Taj is called to eat a sin of a royal, he suddenly thrusts into the center of a dark conspiracy to destroy Kos. Now Taj must fight to save the princess that he loves and his own life. And it's a gritty Nigerian influenced fantasy. So that's the good read kind of review or summary. So it sounds like a really good book.
It does.
So if anyone wants to read along with us, we shall be having another live feed like this next month.
At the end of this month, hopefully we'll be on time at this time. It's 2 days after.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's it for this live feed, I think.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody who tuned in, and be sure to follow our social media for any updates on the book and when we're going to do our next live discussion.
Exactly. And our website as well.
Yes. Okay, thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.